Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6:01 p.m. on Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. We are at the Twinsburg Government Center, and I'm going to call the Safety Committee to session. All right, roll call. Mrs. Labby.
Here.
Mr. Bellin is here. Also joined by Mr. Post, the mayor, and several members of our esteemed police department this evening.
And fire.
And fire. I'm sorry. All right. Let's see. I do not see on this agenda, but we had minutes to be approved. Karen, did you have an opportunity to review those minutes?
I did not.
Okay,
Did you
all right.
see
That's
them?
they came in late. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pass over reviewing them just because they did come in late, so that's fine. All right. All right. Next up on our agenda is the police department. We're going to get an update on radios, staffing, and new vehicles. Chief.
No audience participation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Is there any audience participation? All right. Jonah, good to see you.
Sure.
Thank you. I apologize. All right, Chief, floor is yours, sir.
Good evening. So for this committee, I figured I would just give you a brief update on a couple things. It's nothing too comprehensive, but I thought I'd just check in with you. As mentioned, we'll talk about the radios first. As far as the radios go, the biggest piece that we're going to actually replace in 2025 is the microwave. The microwave, there's actually two components to it that mount on the towers in the city. And then what the microwave does is essentially captures our radio signal, sends it up north to the 800, the MARC system, and then it goes to our police and mobile units. So the reason I mentioned is it's a critical piece. It's an aging piece. It's a piece that is no longer manufactured or supported, so it was something that necessitated being replaced. Hand in hand with that is our portables and our mobile units, the radios in the vehicles as well as, the radios we carry. We learned probably mid-year, maybe around mid-year, that Motorola's were no longer supporting the models that we have. So again, this isn't news, but I'm just catching you up on where we're at. That necessitated replacing our mobile units and our portables. Those have been on order, and actually they should be in any time. We're hoping to have them within any day. Once we...
Are you anticipating a better service with the new?
No, it'll be about the same. It's the same 800 operating system. The only thing is these are old units. Motorola no longer supports them. Anything happens to them, they won't be able to repair them, replace them, anything like that. They won't be able to update the software on them going forward. So they'll basically turn into a brick.
Nice paperweight.
Yeah. So the good news is they're still operating and functioning units, and we plan to repurpose as much as we can. I've worked with, or been in talks with Service, with Dennis Adlowski about, they want to go to the 800 system. This is a prime opportunity to get into the 800 world for them, for pennies on the dollar, essentially. Again, these are functioning units. The risk we run is if we don't replace them now, in the future, you won't be able to repair them or replace components in them. That being said, the mobile units, especially the units that are in the vehicles, are still functioning units. They don't take a whole lot of abuse. They're climate controlled. There's one final update that if we time it right, we can get it done, which will allow them to use these for quite a while. So it's a good opportunity for us to pass them over to Service. Let Service get into the 800 world, as I said, for minimal cost. So that's the plan as far as those go.
Two quick questions, Chief. One, so I know we are swapping out to newer system. Have we had any problems with the current system, or is this just a proactive?
Proactive.
Proactive, okay.
Proactive, yeah.
And then I guess my other question would be, when we make other purchases, whether it's police cruisers, fire trucks, those kind of things, after those things come in, there is a period where we need to tweak or get them ready for use. Are these units, like, as soon as they show up, they're in service and ready to go, or is there?
For the most part, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Aside from the actual physical installation.
Okay.
Yes, the radio should be updated and ready to go.
Thank you.
Yes.
So Chief, just to be clear, the microwave, the tower?
Yes, sir.
That has nothing to do with dispatch itself?
No, it has, the only reason I brought that up is it is a component of our radio system. It doesn't matter who's broadcasting for us, you cannot function without the microwave system. Whether it's our dispatch, any other dispatch, our portables, the mobiles.
Perfect.
Right. It's a super critical piece to that puzzle. And it is not unique, no, Mayor, it's not unique to
Got
the
it.
dispatch
Thank you.
itself. You're welcome. Any questions on the radios?
No, sir.
Okay. Next, I was going to touch on the staffing. So we're in the midst of a sergeant's test, promotional exam. We gave the written exam probably about 2 weeks ago. Next week will be the second component, which is the assessment component. So that still has to be conducted, so we don't have any type of results yet, but we had 7 patrol officers that took the test. So that's where we're at as far as the promotion goes. We shouldn't be able to move fairly quick once we get the results from that. What'll happen is HR will score everything, put it together, give it to civil service. When civil service passes the list, then we can work on the
And
promotion.
you're looking to promote how many sergeants?
One sergeant right
sergeant.
now.
Okay,
Right,
thank
one
you.
sergeant immediately. As far as the patrol test, we did give a patrol test. I think you may have, I've talked to some committee at some point, but we did go through National Testing Network. We did all right, numbers-wise. Anymore, it's kind of crazy. If you get about a dozen people, you know, it's really kind of unheard of, but that's across the board. You know, that's what we're running into. We actually had 34 that took and passed the NTN test, or more took it. We had 34 that passed it. That was the written component. That was several weeks ago. We did the physical agility portion of it this past Sunday. Good news, bad news. The bad news is we only had 8 people showed up.
Out of the 34?
Showed up.
Well, out of the 34, we knew that we were going to lose a certain amount to begin with because it takes a number of weeks to process everything. We had some people who've taken multiple tests, they're on multiple lists. So we had a handful of people that removed themselves from the process because they've already been hired by other agencies. But we had quite a bit that, for whatever reason, didn't show. Out of those 8, all 8 passed easily.
And how many are we looking for there?
5.
Well,
So that's in addition to the lateral process, which we still have open. The laterals are still open. We've been running them. This is the test process for the new candidate, somebody who has not been a police officer, or maybe they are, and chose to take the test rather than lateral. So that's where we're at with the updates. So it's moving along. Actually, HR Director Kalale plans on presenting the list for the candidates tomorrow to civil service. So a little bit of luck, we'll get that through and move on to the processing as quick as we can, get some people in training. The last of our hires, Troy Sutliff, he completed his field training program, and he's been on his own for a little over a week now. So we have no one in the program, so it's a good time to
Great.
get some people going.
Okay.
Exactly. Any questions about hiring or promotion?
No, thank you.
Okay, and then the last thing, I'll just give you an update on the fleet. I'm sure by now you've seen them in person. You see pictures of the Tahoes and the Charger that we got. So altogether, 8 units, 7 Tahoes, 1 Dodge Charger. 3 of the Tahoes and the Charger are in service. They're getting ready to start on the 4th of the Tahoes. A little bit of time, a build out. As we've talked about before, we're repurposing, I think, the majority of all of our Explorers. You know, we're going to keep those, replace the aging backup fleet we had before, as well as vehicles for the SROs, side jobs, court vehicles, things like that. So that transition is going well. Good response so far. The Charger's used primarily as a traffic unit. It's been working out very well. The officers love the Tahoes. They love the room that's afforded to them. So yeah, we've got 4 complete and 4 to go.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
Great. No. Questions?
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I gotta be honest, I think so.
Yeah. Chief Basso, next up is Fire Department. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Microwave.
It's been a while for us since we've had attendance at the safety committee, so I'm going to give you a brief update. Well, brief for me, it's two-sided, but it's pretty large font. Increased call volume, we just want to give you an update on that. we're running way ahead of what we were over the last 5 years. Right now, we're projected to do over 4,120 runs, and last year's total was 3,700.
Wow.
So there's concern there. We are handling the calls. Our monthly average is up to 342. Last year, it was 314. Overlapping is concerning. It's almost 40%. That's a call when there's another call going on, and that doesn't account for the triple or quadruple hits. Last year, it was 35%. Mutual aid is up. Received, I don't count the given. That's when we're providing help, but received last year total, we had 72. We're already up to 86. Now, that means we're answering the calls, but what concerns me is a delay in getting EMS equipment to that. We do go to those calls. Our shift commander will go, or an engine company, but it doesn't have all the stuff that the ambulance has. We do have EMS and kits and the heart monitors in the vehicles, but it doesn't have that definitive care and the drugs and all that. So, but we are handling those calls, and we're addressing it with some staffing. But we had the approval to add more staffing this year, and it's in the works for next year. But right now, you'll see, next council meeting, not tonight, but we'll be swearing in 3 new full-timers, and that gets us back up to 10. We were at 10, but with retirements and promotions, there's a gap there. So I'm using overtime now to fill those gaps to make sure there's at least 8 people on duty as a minimum. That's my staffing. Tonight, you'll also see another promotion that makes up for a movement into the Bureau by Lieutenant Perlotti. So Lieutenant Jeff Hall will be ceremoniously sworn. He was sworn in last week by Mayor Scafidi. So we're looking forward to everything he's going to provide to us. And he's a good guy. They're all good guys, but he's just a meticulous guy, and we look forward to everything he's going to give us over the rest of his career. New ladder truck update. It's going to come in January, which is still 2 years ahead of where we were. If you were here last year, remember the extra meetings. We can't thank you enough for your support, the mayor, finance, everybody who had a hand in it, clerk of council, Mark back there, who was he filled in for Shannon.
That's right, that's right.
That is going to be a welcome addition. We're going to get it early, like I said, 2 years early. We'll take delivery. It'll go right to Macedonia for some stuff that we didn't get done down at the manufacturer. We're going to do our own radios, saving some money there. So there's some money within the project that we saved that we can do our own work. And even Dave and Fred from our fleet management can do some of that work in-house. So we're saving some money there too. So there will be some drivers training, obviously. They're going to deliver it. We're not driving it. It's a different kind of ladder truck. So there will be drivers training taught by the manufacturer and the operations. 2 different things. So we're excited about that. It is a stock unit. It wasn't custom built. I'm moving away from custom builds. It's not just a matter. They cost too much. We're not building trucks around what we have anymore. That's just a crazy way to go. But the stock units are perfect for what our needs are, and we will just outfit it the way we need to instead of building it around what we have. Mm-hmm. So like I said, we saved 2 years off of production time off of that. The Comprehensive Emergency Management Project and the COOP, the Continuity of Operations Plan. We had a conference call today, which is basically a wrap-up call with the contractor, so I'm excited about that. The department heads and directors need to, even the mayor, everybody that has a dog in the hunt, all the department heads, they were involved with this because they did their own department needs. So I'm excited that they have buy-in because they know what the plan's about. So I can't wait to present that to you. I emailed the Cleveland Clinic today regarding the COOP, the continuity of operations. That's if something happens at this facility, where do you go to operate temporarily? So we're reaching out to some other facilities to see if we can temporarily, up to 2 weeks, run like the administration, the mayor, finance, HR, law, all those in one place. All we need is a place to sit and some internet connectivity. So I'm pretty much I'm positive that we're going to get some local help with the local hospital in town. Mm-hmm. On that note. Lieutenant, we did do some, you'll see some legislation tonight that's part of that too. The mayor's declaration of emergency, you saw that in front of you for the first reading. That's an important piece that we've never had in the city. So moving forward, we are tightening things up, and I'm excited to have the comprehensive emergency plan done and our first COOP. We've never had one. and it spells out what we do if things go wrong and we lose our facilities here. So, like I said, the department heads and directors really did a really good job with the needs of their department when it comes to that. There's some other items, converting council chambers into a dock if we need, and there's some electronic stuff, outlets in the floors, that kind of stuff, a printer. Those are items that were addressed with Christina, and then some long-term stuff that I addressed with the mayor and Christina down the road, generators on buildings that need to have generators. And I am the advocate for putting generators on our senior center, that building, the golf course. You have a revenue generating up there in the future. Something to look at to actually expand our places to go if we need to go there. And plus, it gives us the option of having cooling centers and warming centers if the need be. We can't have cooling and warming centers if there's no power.
No power, yeah.
So, but we've been a pretty good reception on that. But again, those are capital items, and it's not from the fire department. That's going to be a city thing. Weather warning sirens, your favorite subject, my favorite subject, and the mayor's favorite subject. 8 of 9 are operational. We put a lot of effort and time and some money into it. The only one that was problematic is in the township, but they're addressing that. They were addressing it last week. We'll find out at the beginning of December if it worked. It's just those parts, just like Tom told you about the microwave parts, those sirens are so old, but we're cobbling them together. B&C has been really good about finding parts. They do operate, and I just want to reemphasize for people who are watching this that they are not designed to be heard inside your homes. You should be tuning into local weather or get a local app on your phone, the weather app, and if you get that notification on your phone, you're getting it before the sirens go off. The sirens only go off once we get that same notification in dispatch, and it's a human factor. You have to push the button to get them to go. So the fleet, 2 med units are in service. They've been in service for several months. So we're going to look at another one to be ordered. We had a letter of intent that we're going to send out. It's supposed to be in '24, but we're pushed it up to '25 to free up some money in the budget for capital. So they'll take a letter of intent, and that's about a 1.5 to 2 year delivery, and that's as long as they're taking anymore. It takes a while to build a med unit. Engine 2 is currently getting body work and paint to get that to last at least 8 more years, and in the next couple of years, we got to start looking at replacing that engine as well. The prices since I've started are just tripled. An engine now is at $1 million. They were at $300,000 when I started, and $250,000. But there's not too many manufacturers in the game anymore. That's what drives the price up. So we're doing what we can to again, not to build a custom, but to go with stock and get the sensible, product that will serve us efficiently. And I am, over the next couple of years, you'll see a reduction in fleet. We're trying to get rid of some of the vehicles we don't need. The 2 ladder trucks will turn to 1. Some of the minor fleet went from 2 pickup trucks to 1, converting things, making it more sensible, right-sizing our fleet. And with that, we'll save money on maintenance and fuel costs down the road. I have a new vehicle. It's an Explorer. I'm out of that Expedition. The Expedition is going to go back into the fleet as a shift command vehicle, and then the existing Expedition will be the supervisor vehicle for Station 2. Again, they have more room for their stuff. I don't need all that stuff, and that thing was way too big for me. So I'm waiting for my car to be upfit, so I know how Tom's feeling with upfit. They have a beautiful facility right here in Twinsburg, but it doesn't help us if everybody else is using them. They're a really popular place to get upfit. So right now I'm just driving with traffic. I got no lights and sirens, I don't even have a console. It doesn't,
wow.
well, that comes with the upfit. But I got one bungee cord in there. I bought one off Amazon just temporarily, so I have a place to put my coffee. So the fleet is looking good. We're doing some relabeling of the vehicles. So like my car says fire chief on it. It'll be relabeled as Car 1. We're going to sensible Car 1, Car 2, Car 3, instead of these long names that take so long to take over the radio. Car 1 takes a lot less time to say than shift command. So it makes it just more sensible, and we do plain speak now. We don't use numbers and labels like we used to. So that fleet's looking good. They're running, and I can't say enough about our service department keeping them running, just the old stuff. Physical facilities, you saw the parking lot is headed to be done, so we thank engineering in the city for putting that together. It's a lot safer. I felt better at open house because it wasn't any place for kids to trip and fall. You could have lost them in a crater this time last year, but they did a wonderful job on that. The guys are excited too, the whole staff. The lintels were replaced, our front door lintels. That was another project. They replaced all 4. They were sagging, and we were just waiting for, a brick to fall out. Thank God nothing happened, but they put a lot of work into that, and it was oversaw by, of course, our service foreman, who did a great job overseeing that. The Magna Grip system, which is the exhaust, we did some updates to that to strengthen the connection. It is a magnet, that's their name, Magna Grip. And then it has another sensor in it where you can push it and start it before the vehicle comes in. So you're sucking the fumes before it touches the vehicle. So that's great for our staff's, health and safety, especially with the carcinogens that are in diesel. Let's see. You see us, if you've been at our station, we're reducing clutter, doing more organizational stuff. Just the Connex and stuff, we relocated, so it's just, we're out of space. And then there's some paint and some other things over the last year we've done. And the last room will be the classroom, and the service department will be performing that work as part of their winter project. So, it starts the day before the Santa run, so it's going to be a mess in our bays. That's where all the furniture is going to be stored. But we're the fire department. We're good at crisis management. It's not a crisis, but we'll figure that out. So, and that's all coming to play too. Our public relations are really important. I have muffins with the mayor Thursday, so I'm looking forward to talking with the seniors about some holiday safety and how we do things. One of the last things, our ACBC site, our aluminum cans for burnt kids. We have that new site that's out in the back that was done by our service department again, and that was paid for by a grant from EPA, totally paid for. The backyard of our fire department looks totally different than a year and a half ago. We're proud of it. Our neighbors like it. We've had people come over and say thank you for cleaning it up. Doesn't look like a junkyard. It's very neat. And we have a really popular collection site at Station 1 and 2. We collect a lot of cans. That translates to a lot of money for aluminum cans for burn kids. So it's heavily used. I go in there every Monday just to see, and the cans, there must be restaurants that are dropping off their cans, but if the public, thank you. You're doing a great thing by contributing to that. So,
Can I ask you about that? I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I knew that the little, the tops.
the tops is one thing. So we have in-house here in all the buildings, we have a little one for the tops that's the Ronald McDonald House. They make some, it's so dense, those little aluminum tabs, that they do make a lot of money off that. So if I have downtime, I'm like, twist it off. Like after open house, we were taking the tabs off the cans. So the cans go ACBC, the tabs go to Ronald McDonald House. So,
didn't realize
and they do a wonderful job with the aluminum
I didn't know that
cans.
either, yeah.
Yeah.
So reminder, Station 2 has one in the back, in the enclosure, and then, clearly marked, and then behind Station 1, clearly marked. And I can't thank Service Department enough, and Jenny from marketing for doing the sign development and doing the graphics. So we've been doing a lot of work with her. Frees us up to do our social media. She's doing a wonderful job on that. So in a nutshell, that's our update, and we'll probably we'll see in about an hour for swearing in.
That's
So,
awesome.
Any questions?
I got 2 quick ones.
Sure.
So in terms of the increased call volume, I know we've been talking about it for years now where, Twinsburg is an aging community. Is that still what you're thinking is driving the
That it
increased
is.
call
There-
volume?
There's no anomalies, sir.
Yeah.
I checked, there's no storms that were this year.
Okay.
Something that you can point to, there was no major calls, nothing over a 3-day period. These are our normal calls.
Okay.
Whether it's going next door to Arbor Glen or to the Acres, no matter where. I'm dating myself, but I've been here since 1990. And, if I've been here since 1990 and people move here to retire, they're aged.
Sure.
So our goal is to get to those calls as soon as possible and do the most efficient care that we can.
Okay, all right, thank you. And then the only other question I had was, so you mentioned the 2 new med units, and you're going to order another one probably next year for delivery, maybe 2
Hopefully
years.
this quarter,
Yeah.
yes.
So do we have, how many do we have? We just have the 2?
We have 3, and then we have a reserve.
Okay,
So we have 3 that are, Med 1, 2, and 3 are, 1 and 2 are the brand-new ones.
Yep.
Med 3 was old Med 1, which is now 7 years old.
Okay.
And then Med 4 is a Braun, which is older than the ones that we auctioned off.
Okay.
Believe it or not, it lasted longer. They kept it running. It's a smaller one. but we're going to keep that running as long as we
Yeah,
can.
now, do those med units, I remember when we ordered the new fire truck, that was partially because those units have an end of life where you can't go beyond them.
Yeah,
Is that not the case
10 years
with the med
ago,
unit?
our med units were projected to go 10 years. We can't, now it's 7 years. I'm trying to
Okay.
narrow that gap
Okay.
because, we're trying to keep the wheels on them.
Okay.
Like engine 2, we're trying to get that, it's not just being painted, they're replacing rust and stuff and welds to keep that vehicle up running
Okay.
efficiently. And you'll see the graphics being changed on that too. The opportunity is there, since there's not going to be stripes, to get it to match. It's all about marketing. You want your stuff to look the same.
Yeah,
So,
okay. All right, any other questions? Chuck, Karen?
I think he was seen about an hour.
Awesome, thank you, Chief. All right, next up is unfinished business, new business, and miscellaneous. Mr. Bonacci.
Well, I apologize for being a few minutes late today, but thank you for allowing me to join. Downtown, it's much appreciated, so thank you.
All right. Ms. Labby?
Nothing further for me.
Mr. Post, Mayor, anything? No? All right. All right, we have no absent members to excuse. For the record, Mr. Bonacci did join us. He is here this evening. The next meeting date will be March 11th, 2025. So this does represent the last Safety Committee meeting of 2024. I would just like to thank my fellow colleagues up here and the mayor and everybody that made this a really good year for the Safety Committee. I really do appreciate it. Chiefs, I appreciate the updates. Thank you very much. With that being said, we will adjourn the Safety Committee at 6:27 PM.